For anyone on their own personal development journey, this is probably going to be a very good video for you. If you don't know, I've been documenting my own personal becoming her journey, which is basically where I'm at now as a person to becoming her, which is the future version of me, the version that I aspire to be basically, and continuously grow and develop over time. So I'm probably only about 1 to 2 months into my documenting journey as it is. The last couple of weeks I've been a little bit quiet on socials. However, I thought that I would start doing a YouTube series on it just to get into a bit more depth about what I've learned, maybe some tips and things that have helped me along the way, and hopefully it can help someone else. So in today's video, I really just want to touch on 2 main things in particular. I feel like there are so many different things that I could do a series about. The purpose of this video, I really want to touch on the deeper patterns rather than just your surface level habits, routines, things like that you can change and do make a difference, absolutely. But I want to go into that next level, that really deep behavioral patterns as to things that are really going to impact your day-to-day and your next level growth. As well as also the topic, which I do this all the time, and I'm still guilty of, letting go of trying to figure everything out before you start something. So this is something that I do all the time, and I think it's something that has really held me back in the past. Sometimes when you start, it can feel really uncomfortable and a bit of out of your comfort zone, but that's the only place that growth happens. So these are the 2 topics that I really want to touch on today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so that I can make more of these videos. I do also have my little notebook here because I like to write everything down. And also I do forget so much stuff, so mum brain. But if you see me looking down, that's why. Okay, so topic number 1, noticing the deeper patterns, understanding them, processing them, and then allowing yourself the ability to move forward. So not all patterns are bad. You can have good ones and bad ones. That could be just your good daily habits, good routine, or it might be bad daily habits or bad routines that you currently have that you need to change. These are great because you definitely need to change these in order to become the person that you want to be. However, I want to go into the deeper ones that really affect our behavior, and that not just that surface level, but the ones that are like self-sabotage, avoidance, procrastination. It might be disguised as being practical or maybe not the right time, when in fact it's actually just a behavioral pattern that we have done to keep ourselves safe in the past, which has obviously held us back from reaching that next level. So these deeper patterns can quietly shape the direction of your life if you don't interrupt them. They can keep you stuck and they can keep you in the same place, and it won't allow you to grow as a person. It's really important though that the shift isn't about forcing these feelings and thoughts away. You have to acknowledge what sort of behavior patterns were coming up, even if I initially maybe tried to deny that that was actually something that I did or something that I felt. But if you can't understand the pattern and understand the behavior, then it will continuously keep going and you will learn the same lesson over and over before actually making that next shift. So you need to pause and acknowledge internally, what pattern is this? Where does it come from? Is it protecting me or is it holding me back? It doesn't mean that we need to perfect these behaviors because that will obviously come with time. However, if you don't acknowledge these and you're not aware of them, then you obviously can't make that change, even if you want to. So one of the examples that I have today, and I do this all the time, I'm getting a lot better at stopping it, but I do it a lot still. So it's the moment where these surface level actions could be something where you plan to work on your goals, plan to do a workout, maybe it's filming a video like this and you procrastinate. So then you get this urge to, oh, I'll do it after I clean, or I'll just scroll on my phone for half an hour, or I get sidetracked with different things, and it might be disguised as procrastination, or on the surface it may just look like poor time management or some form of distraction. But in reality, it's actually a behavioral trait. The deeper pattern behind all of that is it's the fear of not being perfect, which I'm very bad at. I've come to realize how much of a perfectionist I really am. Fear of failure or fear of being seen. Sometimes, particularly if you're sharing something online, I have this huge fear because whether people know you or people don't know you, and just about judgment, that kind of thing. Same with going to the gym. If you want to lose 10 kilos and you're going into the gym for the first time, there's that fear of, what if I'm using the machines wrong? What if people who are there are fitter than me and they laugh at me. There's so many different things that hold us back, and it's those deeper patterns. Sometimes too, it can make us feel like we're maybe a little bit lazy, but I've come to realize that it's not actually anything to do with laziness. It's avoiding discomfort or judgment. Another one, which I do a lot of, is emotional self-sabotage when things start going well. So you might maybe start to see some progress, or you're starting to do really well, whether it's, again, posting videos online with your journey, fitness, working towards goals, whatever it may be for you personally. If you have that behavioral pattern where you start to notice you're getting a little bit of momentum, you're starting to make some progress, and then suddenly life happens and we fall off the bandwagon for maybe a couple of days or a week if you go away or something like that, and you start to self-sabotage of, oh, well, I'll start on Monday, or I've ruined it anyway, so what's the point? Instead of just realizing, no, this has happened, this is life, let's get back into it. So on that surface level, it's that loss of motivation. However, on that deeper level, it's that discomfort with the growth and success. And that's when we resort to our known behaviors or thoughts and go back to making our old bad decisions instead of stopping, understanding it, acknowledging it, processing it, and moving forward. Another prime example of this could be that if you are on a diet and have a bad weekend where maybe you go out with friends a lot and you eat lots of bad food and alcohol and that kind of thing, that you then go, oh, well, I've fallen off the bandwagon, I'll just leave it at that. Instead of making a conscious choice that aligns with the person that you want to be and say, no, I'm not going to have that last drink, or I'm not going to have Macca's on the way home, or whatever it may be, and getting back on that bandwagon straight away. Identifying, does it align with who I want to be, or is it holding me back? Is this a behavior that is a repeated pattern? So I have found that part of me always pulls back to what is familiar, even if it's something that I've outgrown. So I always resort to what I know or what I've done in the past because it's comfortable and it keeps me where I am, rather than actually stopping the behavior and moving forward. Okay, and the second topic that I want to talk about today, I do this a lot, letting go before it's all figured out. So it's about releasing that need for certainty before you take action on something. So internally, I would always map out what the next 10 steps would be before I actually take that first step. Because for me personally, I thought that I needed to know what was going to come so that I felt prepared. I think in a way you kind of want to predict the outcome, or maybe even just understand the full path before you take that action. It also gives you a certain level of security and safety, because then you're not going to be surprised by something if it pops up. However, what I've learned is that this actually delays any form of progress rather than actually protecting me and helping me. So this is where I'd also find that I would always stay in that planning phase, because I would try to control the outcome, and eventually this would kind of lead to giving up when life happens. A prime example of trying to plan everything out before I actually begin could even just be with this series and this video itself. So I knew that I wanted to start documenting on YouTube and going a little bit further in depth about my journey. However, I knew that this would sort of be my first video. Typically in the past, I would then sit down and be like, right, let's plan out the next 30 videos, and these are topics that are really important, and just really try and think of the next 6 months rather than going, no, start here. Clarity will come through starting. And that's where it's really important to have that focus shift of just the next step. I don't need to know every step. I just need to know this one right now, get through this, and the next, it'll start flowing. And also beginning before you feel ready. So I do not feel ready at all to share. I also get a little bit of imposter syndrome where I feel, who am I to be telling people how to improve themselves when I'm still on the journey myself? Having discomfort doesn't mean they need to stop. Having discomfort is when you are right on the edge of that next level growth. I've learned that I had to slowly trust myself and just take one step at a time through my journey, that I just need to stay in the motion. If I stop and give up and then go, oh, I'll start again next Monday, you just stay in the same place. You don't actually progress anywhere. So sometimes you got to be a little bit uncomfortable. And a prime example, again, for someone who maybe is on their own fitness journey, is that you might plan out your entire week, right? And you might go, Sundays I'm going to do meal prep, Mondays I'm going to go for walks, then try and plan your entire week, whether it's building some kind of structure, which is good because personally I'm someone who needs structure. However, this is where this behavioral pattern would hold me back in the past, is that if life happened again, which it will, you don't have to have everything right to begin. You don't need the perfect plan, you just need momentum. So it could even be starting with a simple walk. Take it day by day. Or if it's about a video, take it video by video. If you're applying for a new job and you want to get to this role, you're not going to just finish uni and go straight into running the company. So again, start small. Start with the application. Go to the interview. Accept the job. Work your way up. You're not going to see the whole entire picture. You may even get halfway through that and realize that it's not for you, and that's okay as well. But it's all about starting without being completely certain of what that future looks like. It is okay to have some kind of a plan, because sometimes that is also a form of motivation in itself if you've got something to work towards. However, it's when we have too much control over that plan and things aren't panning out the way that we thought they would. One of the main things that I have to keep telling myself is action first, clarity comes second. So that's all I've got for today's video. If you did enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also leave a comment on maybe something that you would like me to touch on further, or if you'd like me to go into depth more about these two topics particularly. There is so much more happening within my Becoming Her journey, and if you would like to, check out my socials on TikTok and Instagram. I've also been documenting quite a lot on there and share it with my community. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.